Joyful day, beautiful beings. So we are back live with Beyond the Story Heart Talk podcast. So this is a part two. My guest had some technical difficulties. She's a mother, and so she had to figure some things out because that's what happens sometimes. So we are back live with Keesha Brundridge, and she is going to be joining us live on the stage. Let's see if I can get it back. And yes, here she comes, everyone. So, everyone, welcome our special guest to the stage today. We have Keesha Brundridge, which is joining us. And she invested in herself by taking the Before the Journey crash course. But before we get into the crash course, Keesha, tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, and what drives the work that you do.
Hi, I'm Keisha, and I am a lot of things. The first hat is being a mom, being a caretaker. I also work inside the schools now, which is something recently I've had taken a liking to. Sometimes when you put your foot out there, you surprise yourself.
Oh, yes, that's what we like to
I'm
hear.
a school
Okay,
board.
so what drives the work that you do?
The motivation, being needed, and being supported. Having a team is my drive and motivation. So that's what drives me to be inside the schools now is the team that I have and the motivation and um, just trying to, make an influence where I can.
Yes. Excuse me. Excuse
Mhm.
me. Yes. Okay. Wonderful. So, did you have any hesitation about taking the Before the Journey crash course? And if so, what made you decide to go for it?
Yes, I had a little bit of, getting my foot in the way of things. Sometimes I seem to push things out of fear by procrastination. So I'm glad that I did go ahead and see what it was about.
And what made that? What made that? What made you just decide the extra push? That what made you say, "Okay, Keisha, we could do this," moving the procrastination out of the way?
Well, my good friends here, they talk to me about, some of my unlikely characteristics. And so, when you have good friends, they get on you. They get on you to push you a little bit. So having those friends on my team, that surrounded me, they help they help me do better for myself. So that's what helped me to say, go ahead and let's just get this done so we can see what's about it. Because sometimes when I'm moving along, sometimes I myself need a little guidance and a little push.
Yes, and I think as we all do, and that's what I love about the Beyond the Story is because it really tells the story of everyday superheroes, like those that we look up to, how they need help too. Like the counselor needs a counselor, right? The mother needs another mother. Like the mother needs mothering. And the world doesn't really let us see the beauty. Like sometimes we think that that's an ugly process. We want people to see all the glamour of us always having it together, but I really truly believe that the art of life and not just surviving life, but the thriving and the embracement of life is seeing all of those elements of life.
Mhm.
Okay, wonderful. So anything. So did anything surprise you about the experience? Any unexpected takeaways from this through Before the Journey crash course?
During the videos, when I was listening to the first day one, when it talked about who are they talking about in the video, and like at first I first came to mind and they said you, it's talking about you, and then I thought that that was not the right answer, but it was the right answer. So my mind sometimes it goes back and forth on decision making.
Mm-hmm.
So the first time I was right when I said, well, that video talking about you as in yourself, that you're the one that gets in the way of your things. And I truly, truly know that is for a fact in my life.
Yeah.
Because a lot of things I could have got done like that. But sometimes, I procrastinate. and that's a part of fear, which I'm starting to realize that when I am real with myself, that's the only way to be real with yourself. Is the way you
Yes,
get things done. People can tell you all day long
yes,
doing
friend.
wrong and
Yes,
what's right, but until you realize and acknowledge that you doing wrong, then it won't mean nothing until you identify yourself. So
yes, friend. Yes, and I love that, right? I love that you were able to one just express that boldly, right? Because speaking to the fear is a whole thing. Like we can't always just make it disappear overnight. But when you tell that fear who's in charge, it changes everything, right? And so again, procrastination might be something you might have to deal with for a long time, but it still doesn't have to control how you show up anymore because each day you chip away at the procrastination by again taking the Before the Journey 3-day crash course, but also having friends around you that hold you accountable. So
mhm.
thank you for showing up for that. So let's move right along. How has this course changed the way you approach challenges or opportunities in your life?
Opportunities in life. The way I'm gonna get things done is by making an outline. And another friend was telling me to add dates to this stuff, to add dates to when you're gonna get this stuff done. Because
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
I have like a list of things, but I never really thought to add a date to it because I am so afraid that if I put a date to it,
Mm-hmm.
will it ever get done or will it get done on it? Because I hate deadlines. But when I was working for this one job and they had deadlines, I would sometimes go through lunch just to get the deadline done. But I would I would have like a maybe 2 weeks to like map out this is what's gonna be done. It has to be like this, da 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 da. And I would do that when I was in a office kind of front. And I think that because the work site is so much different when you're in an office than when you're working from home, that
Mm-hmm.
people who check in with you and say,
Right.
oh yeah, hey, did you see that yet? So that kind of got me going because that's like fire under my butt, So but at home you have to make sure that you put these on the calendar when these things are going to be done.
Right.
So because a lot of times they'll say, well, what's your organization skills? How do you know you're going to get this done? What does that look like to stay organized? And everybody has a different way of doing things. So
And so, do you think like having the 3-day crash course help you kind of better be able to structure now how you do work at home life? That is just as much as important to honor those deadlines, just as you did if you were on a corporate position for anybody else. Yeah, that's what you're saying.
yep.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, so moving right along. Um, um you're now so after you've taken this 3-day crash course and you've done this exclusive podcast to help me relaunch Beyond the Story podcast, you are now stuck with us, right? You are now welcome into our growing community. And so now that you're there, how do you see yourself using this experience to support or to inspire others?
I would definitely say that the 3-day course does make you realize, what things you need to correct in life and to get things done. Like who's in your way. Most of the time, you yourself is in the way of you getting up there. On the ladder.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so I think that it helps you reshape your mindset. Uh, it helps you look at like areas where you could need some improvement. And everybody needs improvements in different areas. Not always the same areas, but some need tweaking.
Right, right. A little polishing don't hurt nothing.
And so that gave me some a view of myself.
Oh, and that is the point of Before the Journey. And that's why I called it. I'm like, what can I title it? Of course, I want to do stuff, you know, you want to market it nice. And then so before the journey, so this is before you embark on something new, or even the thing that you've been trying to do, that 12-week thing. Every day is like a new day into the day that you're trying to do something. So if this is something that you've been procrastinating on for 3 years, this day that you start to that you just make your mind up to approach it differently is a new day. And so this is a new before the journey for you. And so I love that, because the point is to just get us to think. That's the point of this 3 day before the journey crash course, is to get you to think, to look at the opportunity or the challenge or whatever it is that you're facing. Maybe it is the man in the mirror, but to get you to have some deeper thinking about the process that you're on, or the one that you could possibly be afraid to take. So I love that for you. Okay, so we are approaching our signature question, and this is a question that I'm going to be asking everyone who comes onto the platform, because I want to allow a level of consistency. And then, if nothing else, that as the podcast grows, the guests are able to take away like this one thing. Like if they got nothing else from what you said about the 3 day crash course, about you sharing your lived experience, because the Beyond the Story is about everyday heroes and sheroes telling their testimony on how they got over and how they're continuing to push themselves and grow themselves, because the world wants us to hide those things. And so, last question here is, if someone is listening right now, stuck in their own way, what would you tell them?
Stuck in their own way. I think I said it best the other day when I said, um, if you let fear get in the way, then the fear has won. Um, and you will continue to stay on that curb if you allow fear to continue to take over your life. You can't allow fear to take over your life, because you're gonna stay on that curb forever until you swallow fear up. There was a time that I don't think only a very few people know, but I had anxiety so bad that
Mm-hmm.
I did not drive during high school. I first got in the car at 23 years old because I had been so scared and never drove myself anywhere until there was a job that
Yeah.
Keisha really wanted. Keisha really wanted this job. And it was like Peace Corps. And what I had to do, I had to force myself to have a friend help me. It was a Jamaican lady, and she got me in that car, and she took me almost every evening when she got off work. We would get around the block, and we drive down the street in the community till I got to where I was able to drive by myself. And what you know, 38. I'm 38 now, and guess who is behind the wheel now?
Yeah. See, that's the thing.
So I
Yeah.
think about that, and I think about how it took everything in for me to get behind a car.
Right. So
Yeah.
you're telling the guests that could be listening, is to who might be stuck in their own way, is the way for them to be unstuck is to just try something.
Try some baby steps. You don't have to get out there all at one
Yeah,
time, but get the feet wet one at a time. You got to tiptoe into stuff.
yeah, because slow and steady still wins the race. Like,
Tiptoe to get tiptoe to
hey,
get.
right? I think that's the thing about, like you were saying, like everybody journey to wherever they're trying to go is unique. And that's the masterpiece. That is the beauty. Like we can all find some type of encouragement from everybody's story if we allow ourselves to, right? And so I think the idea of us not understanding the fact that my journey is unique, and that I can still get to the same space, but I get to get there how I'm capable of getting there. And I tell the young people sometimes, and I like to use analogies. And so I tell them, like, if you know you can't swim, don't go jumping in 12 feet to try to prove to somebody that you're popular and you know you can't swim. It is okay to be cute on the steps. You hear me? Because know you know that you can't swim. But yet you still want to be at the party, but don't pretend to be things that you're not, and allow yourself small steps to get to where it is that you're trying to go. So,
Tiptoe it.
what were you going to
Tiptoe into it.
say? To it. And so I just want to say thank you, because you are actually our first guest on the relaunch of the Beyond the Story podcast. Thank you for graduating from the Before the Journey 3-day crash course. Um, this opens you up about the experience. She told you about her growth and what it means to get out of your own way and step into your truth. This season, each guest isn't just talking. We're not here to talk. We're here to testify, to tell how we overcome. Each story will share a reflective way of how they transform, discovered resilience, and the true beauty of doing the inner work. Keesha, if you have any last things for the guests before we close out, what would you say?
I would say that this 3-day mind changer is something that a lot of people need, and not to be afraid of trying some new things. Because you know what? Like me, a lot of times when I try things, I surprise myself, and that could very much be you as well. You how you gonna know if you like something unless you try it? And like, just because everybody else is doing certain things doesn't mean that you're supposed to do that too. Sometimes it's okay to redo the story. Sometimes it's okay to remap things.
Mm-hmm.
And not to stay beating yourself up. Mistakes happen. That's a part of life. We just got
Yes,
how we what we're gonna do
yes.
after we know that the mistake has taken place.
I love that. I love that. And so thank you so much. So I just want to say on a heartfelt note that I'm so proud of you, friend. I'm proud of you being willing to give yourself the opportunity to learn new things. And even when it makes you uncomfortable, I've seen you, you know, in your own adversity, but now figuring out how to make that beautiful for you. And so I am so proud of where you're going, but most of all, where we're going, right? Um,
Go on. Yeah.
because a better you equals a better me. And
Amen.
yeah, and so thank you for being our first special guest on Beyond the Story Hearts Talk podcast. Y'all keep smiling, keep shining, and don't forget that I need you to survive, and a better you equals a better.
Yes. Yeah.